Investing.
Don't this shit make a nigga wanna 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 Don't this shit make a nigga wanna.
I know that word looks and sounds terrifying, but just like last time, I'm here as a resource to guide you through some of the basics. But who the fuck am I to give you advice? I've been offered positions and worked at the top financial firms in America due to my understanding and application of, well, finance. I legally have to tell you that this is not financial advice because I am not a professional. Yet. You saw the title of this video, you know exactly who it's targeted towards. We're part of a generation of people with a 4.8% unemployment rate right out of college. And that might not sound like a lot, but it's almost 1% above the national average. And it reverses a trend that we've seen in the past where recent graduates have lower unemployment than the national average. And Gen Z as a whole is facing a 7.4% unemployment rate, which is almost double the national average. And this stuff is probably worse because these numbers are low-key kind of old. And of course, the government is shut down, so you can't even get a public sector job. This shit is fucked up. On top of that, we've been conditioned to think that college is the only path to success, which has created two problems. Now there's an oversupply of people with degrees, making the job market incredibly competitive and allowing companies to be extremely picky with their candidates. Being ghosted on Hinge is one thing, being ghosted on Indeed is fucking diabolical. And two, we're left having to repay large student loan debt to get a degree that we probably won't even use. I ain't trying to pack the shit out of you, bro, I promise. I bring this all up to say I understand why you would be hesitant to invest some of your money because you can't afford to lose any.
We are Sex Bomb! 1, 2, 3, 4!
And this is why I'm bringing you this video. There was a lot of focus on the stock market in the last video, and it's inherently riskier than other alternatives. These 4 alternatives are pretty much going to guarantee you a return without having to see any losses, albeit not as much of a return as you would see in the stock market, but still pretty decent. The 4th one is low-key my favorite, so you probably want to stick around for that. One thing about these banks that you deposit your money into is that their worst enemy is an informed consumer. You keep so much of your money saved up in these accounts only to earn 0.01% of a return on it because you don't know the other safe options that'll pay you more. I know I've rambled a lot, but I have to get that out of the way. Now we can get to number 1, a high yield savings account. This is the closest thing you can get to your everyday savings account. Essentially, instead of paying you nothing for keeping your money in the account, it'll pay you a pretty decent amount, depending on the interest rate in America. If you want to learn more about how interest rates are set and changed, go watch this video. However, this interest rate isn't always going to be the same. It'll fluctuate based on market forces. If you have extra money that you're not using right now, you can just transfer it to the high yield savings account until you need it again. Pause. I quickly want to make sure that we're all on the same page about how gaining interest works. This number that you see here, given that it stays the same, is the return you'll get on your money every year. And most of the time, these accounts pay out interest monthly. So if we divide this by 12, every time you get paid interest, you'll get paid, in this case, 0.3% of the money in your account. Play. I also wanted to include that it's mad easy to set up these accounts. Just look it up on the internet, compare interest rates, and look up some reviews of the bank. Do be aware of some special terms of service for having the account if there are any. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I just went with Amex because it was offering the highest rate at the time, and I trust the brand. My nigga, please open an account. It's so easy. It's so fucking easy. All right, guys, I have a question for you. Answer this real quick. CDs or tapes? All right, take your time. Okay, time's up. I'm going to tape my penis to your forehead so that you can see these nuts. This is so stupid. Number 2, CDs or certificates of deposit. This next one doesn't give you as much freedom with your money, but it still has its niche uses. Basically, you can lock your money up in these deposits for a specified term, be it 3, 6, 9 months, a year, etc., and get that money returned to you with interest. Unlike the high yield savings account, this rate is locked in for however long your CD lasts for. This can be a good and a bad thing. For example, you can potentially lock in a 5% rate now in expectation that rates across the board will fall. In a couple of months, if they fall to 3%, you win. You made the right choice. However, if rates rise further, higher than 5%, well, now you just locked your money up and you can't take advantage of higher rates. You are a fucking loser. Pause again. So remember the interest rate, the APY? When you're comparing APYs for CDs, this is the annual return. Remember, annual interest rate. So if you have a CD that lasts for 6 months, the annual rate used to calculate how much money you'll receive will be half of the APY. In this case, you'll receive around 2%. Play. Divided by 2. I'll keep this one short since I don't think it'll apply to a lot of people, but money market accounts. This also has a niche use of withdrawing money from the account to pay for stuff. Usually the limit is like 5 to 6 times per month. It's like a hybrid between a high yield savings account and a checking account. However, you do have to keep a sizable amount of money in these accounts to gain the interest, like a couple thousands of dollars. So if you're balling like that, go for it. And now we can get into my favorite one, motherfucker, high yield dividend stocks. Oh, this is definitely the riskiest one on the list as it doesn't guarantee you a safe return. Kinda lied to you. but it's worth bringing up. You can think of this one as somewhat of a strategy as well. Quick note, always keep this idea in the back of your mind that the higher the return / interest rate is, the more potential risk the investment is. But I found success in looking for companies whose stock prices don't change as much because they offer high, consistent dividends that are typically paid out every quarter. If you're gonna do this type of method for your research, you should prioritize looking at how consistently the company has paid out dividends and how much those dividends have grown over the years. And you should look at their 10K to understand if the business model is solid. We'll get back to the 10K later. Financial statements are also incredibly important as well to assess if the business model is even working, and you can examine the financial health of the company. But I do not have the time to teach about understanding financial statements right now. You might have to look up a tutorial. So going back to the 10K, it's a document companies on the stock market have to publish annually that details all of their finances and gives in-depth info about the business. They also have a similar document called the 8K, which does the same thing but every quarter. It's a great source of information if you want to know everything about a public company. I wanted to share some of these because if you have money laying around in a savings account, you are being taken advantage of. Prank 'em, John.
Hey, yo, look who fell asleep first.
Prank him, John.
You already know.
I hope you learned something and that this video ended up being helpful for you. If it was, like the video, and I'll see you later.